Welcome back to another episode of Champion Standard. Rob, I'm going to be your host tonight. I've got two dudes that know their trench warfare. We got Alex, A King Evals, football brainiacs, and we've got JY, another trench meister. So we're going to be breaking down some OU run game and pass game, and talk some of that OU Michigan game.
That's my standard. That's my standard. My champion standard. Champion standard. Pull up with the answers. Yeah, the answers. Champion standard. Champion standard. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, this was a pretty good win. It was I was pleasantly surprised about the control at the line of scrimmage pretty much from start to finish on both sides of the ball. There was some things that they gave us some fits, but I think all in all, this O-line, breaking in 4 new starters, we had to shuffle some guys, and you got Maiikula at center getting his start. Simmons goes to the right tackle. Fasusi gets his start at left tackle. Fabici Wiwu sits there at right guard, and then Ozeata comes in and gets his first start of the year at left guard. I thought they did pretty dang good for your first game. All these guys come in, and you've got Michigan is a quality opponent. This is not little sisters of the poor. Those guys are all big time D1 athletes. This might not be a D line that has the Aiden Hutchinson and some of the other guys that go in the first round, but they are all quality players. And for all these 4 guys to get their first start against that quality opponent, and to see them be able to move the football when run game, or really, I'm really pleasantly surprised by the pass protection was good. Gave Mateer plenty of time to deliver the ball. He was able to take some really great shots downfield. They used that quarterback run game great to give them +1 advantage. They had a solid game with all those new starters on there. JY, I sent it to you, man. What were your initial thoughts from this Michigan game with all those new starters?
Well, I thought that they played really well together, especially as a unit. For the first time, they did play together. I thought the pass pro was very good. You only had a couple of times where, even though Mateer got sacked, he did have time to get rid of the ball and maybe try to do a little too much here and there. What's good about him is he knows where he's going to go with the ball, and he does a good job reading his hot routes. You saw Burks be on the same page with him a couple of times early in the game. When he needed to get it, they've really been studying. So I thought that the pass pro was really good. As far as program defining wins, it's probably the best win the Sooners have had in a really long time. Just from a dominant standpoint, I think this is up there with the Nebraska 2000 victory. I think this is up there with the Texas Tech 08 victory. It was one of the most dominant defensive performances I've ever seen as an adult Sooner fan. Just hands down. They dominated Michigan up front. Other than the one alignment bust they had on the long run to start the second half, I think they would end up having 212 yards for the game. And that was to do that to Michigan, and everybody was chirping. The Sooners beat Michigan so bad that now the narrative is that Michigan isn't any good, right? Right. And leading up to that, all you hear about is Portnoy's $1 million man, the Bryce Underwood, and he's going to come in, he's going to hang 50 on us, and, he's going to silence the crowd and shock the world, all this other stuff, right? And they just beat him. That was the most thorough, dominant defensive performance that the Sooners have had. Probably there's 3 on the same level with it, in my opinion. You got Florida State 2000 national championship game, right? You've got Iowa State 2001, where they had the Heisman Trophy candidate come in and they made him look like a JV quarterback. Mm-hmm. And Then you had the Arkansas Cotton Bowl, So in the last 25 years, I don't think we've seen as thorough a dominant defensive performance that I can remember.
Yeah.
So going off of, what are you thinking, Alex, after coming off of that game?
I would say, honestly, JY, there's another game that I always think about when I think about OU's defense and dominant performances. Was it 2001, the first game of the season against North Carolina? Now, by the time the game was over, UNC had put some points on the board. But that first half, man, that's the fastest, most violent defense I remember at OU. And that the defense that we saw Saturday against Michigan, man, flying around on the field. I don't know how many guys left the field for Michigan hurt, nicked up. That defense was hitting. Any East and West was shut down. You're not going to get to the outside on this defense. So that was fun to watch. But yeah, that North Carolina 0-1 game, that first half was just, man, that was fun to watch. Just as a whole, like you guys both said, just the physicality in the trenches, man, it's just night and day different from what we've been seeing at OU in a while. And obviously with Brent Venables at the helm, that's not a shocker that at some point we were going to start to see that in the D-line coach he brought in. So I did like what we saw from the O-line, really in pass pro for sure. I think the running games, you're starting 4 new guys, obviously, in this game against Michigan. There's going to take some time for them to build some cohesiveness and continuity there and build that chemistry, which I think that running game will come along more and more as we go. But the pass pro, man, you had Ozeata in there looking strong at left guard. There was multiple reps I watched where he's one-on-one with a D tackle and more than held his own, did great. Maiikula looked fine in there at center. Had some flash plays in there that caught my attention. So, and then obviously the 2 tackles, I tweeted about it the other day. I don't think there's any doubt Beatonbow knows that he's got his left tackle and he's got his right tackle moving forward for sure. So all in all, you couldn't ask for, you had some busts in there. You gave up some plays, but what you saw was what Michigan got was because it's what OU, gave to them. You had the drop punt, things like that. It was more so OU's mistakes that led to Michigan scoring 13 points. Coming into Norman with a true freshman quarterback against Brent Venables, that's just not a great recipe. So they kind of did what I was honestly really expecting them to do.
Yeah. I think, even if the quarterback was able to throw the ball, I just don't think Venables and the coverage menu that he has in his pocket of all the different things he could throw at a rookie quarterback would make a quarterback spin. So I think it was almost purposeful that they did not want Bryce Underwood throwing more than 17 passes downfield, because I think the secondary would have ate. So with trying to keep the ball safe, not push the ball downfield, defense just flipped the switch and was super aggressive getting upfield and causing so much disruption and havoc. And Michigan was just holding on for dear life. Defensively. And as far as, with the the 75-yard touchdown that they had, and we got into a defensive alignment, you take a timeout and that play doesn't happen. Someone just says, hey, we're not lined up right, or this is a bad call. Hey, we just came out of half. We gave them some unbalanced looks on offense. They come out of the half and they go, hey, we can do that too. And you take a timeout and those 6 points are vacated. It's gone. So besides that, it's that the defensive performance was fantastic.
Yep.
I want to talk a little bit of Fasusi. I haven't really had a chance to really talk about him, but of everyone in our recruiting class, there was only one person that I got super hyped on, and I believed all the hype in the spring and the fall, because you're just hype going around in the off season all the time. But the Fasusi hype, I've always felt like it has to be real. It has to be real. You look at him physically, there's nothing else that kid can do physically to be ready for a season. He's ready to play. So there's not something that he has to add 20 pounds or he has baby fat to get rid of or whatever in order to get on the field. Like, he's ready to play physically. I was just excited to see him get on the field and actually play. And he is so technically sound as a true freshman rookie. that kid, you guys might know, but that kid looks like somebody that has like a trainer, he's gotten like a trainer on the side through his career, like through high school and everything. He looks like a guy that has had a lot of technical work through already up until he's 18 years old or so. The kid, I mean, just it's the first step, that first kickback, that first kick slide. I'll find a play of it. Like it's so perfect every time with the snap of the ball. I think Fasusi has a huge bright future. And I saw a tweet saying, "Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top 10 pick in 3 years." And I'm like, dude, he's probably at the end of this year already a first round pick. Like, I don't think that. I mean, all he needs is some production, and he's already be at that level already. Like, he just needs to put it on the field. So, JY, what are your thoughts on the young kid Fasusi out there playing at left tackle?
Well, when we started TFB, what is it, 10 years ago, 11 years ago now? One of the things Kay and I always used to say when we were watching guys is that you'll know it when you see it, right? If you have to make excuses for the guy, if you have to rationalize any part of their game, they're probably not the guy. And with Fasusi, you don't have to do that. Everything comes natural to him. If I had a way to describe him, it would be the Roy Hobbs, right? of offensive tackles, or Jesus Shuttlesworth. He is a natural in every way, shape, and form. Everything looks effortless. And when you look at the great ones, it's always effortless, whether they're singers, whether they're pitchers, whether they're quarterbacks, hitters, whatever it is they're doing, running backs like Adrian Peterson, everything looks effortless. It doesn't look like they're working hard at all. And for him, everything is just so smooth. On the first, how much they trust him is you're running a double move out of your own end zone, and he's one-on-one with Michigan's defensive end, right? And he doesn't overextend himself. He lets the guy come to him. His punch is timed well. He doesn't open the gate where he makes him parallel and gives up an edge. Everything is effortless. Everything is smooth. Now, can he get better? Absolutely. There's going to be things that he's got to work on. He's still a little, and I know this sounds ignorant, but he's still a little thin on the top end. His base is very thick, very powerful, but up top, he's got to fill out a little bit more. He's still probably 18 years old, 17 years old, however old he is. And like everybody was talking about Ryan Williams for Alabama last year, this is the equivalent of that as an offensive lineman, right? And that's what Fasusi brings to the table. I mean, ultimately, you and I talked about it when you guys had me on the pod here a couple months ago. I don't think Sexton ever gets his job back. Right? He just got Wally Pitt, right? And Wally Pitt, for all you guys that don't know who that is, that's the guy that set out because he had a headache, and a young guy named Lou Gehrig came in the game, and, was it 2,161 games later, he finally came out. So for the next 3 years, I think that's all you're going to have him. If he stays healthy and he works hard, which all indications is that he will, he's going to be one of those first top 5 pick type guys.
Yeah.
So kudos to him. I mean, God gifts people, and he is a gifted athlete and a hell of a football player.
Yeah. Whenever I turned on the film, you already got a glimpse of it Saturday watching it live, right? But turning on the film over the weekend, I want to say it's the first. It was either the first or the second snap of the game. Their first throw of the game. You already saw it immediately pop. You see his, like you mentioned earlier, Rob, the kick step. You see his set, how smooth his feet are, how the foot quickness is there. The anchor shows up immediately. Like this is an 18-year-old's first start playing against Michigan, right? And you immediately, I think on the first rep of him in pass pro, you see he's firing that hand, independent hands, right? Landing a heavy hand there, and then he's dropping anchor. And it's like, dude, like that's, you don't see that from 18-year-olds, right? You don't see that from freshmen. Not only that, he shows the ability to refit, to get under rushers. Like, this guy's not playing like a freshman. This guy's playing like a junior or a senior, right? That's just been in the system, has the knowledge of it. And just understands pass pro. So watching him, I was sitting there rep after rep. I tweeted out some clips of him. It's not normal, right? With the traits he brings. And I know, again, like, he's 18, he brings a soccer background. You see that athleticism on the tape. But not only that, with that anchor, you see the play strength he already has at such a young age, right? I was, completely blown away by it. I'll own talking about this last week with you two. I'll completely own that I said going into the season and wanting to start a true freshman at left tackle, man, I was very skeptical about it, especially going into the SEC and the pass rushers he's going to face. And this first game, man, I was like, man, I'm wrong. Like, this guy is more than capable. Now, he'll probably still have his moments, throughout the season where you see the fact that he's a freshman show up at times, no doubt. But what he displayed Saturday and the talent and the traits he brings, this is your left tackle, period. So he not only was it in the pass game, he showed it in the running game too. So, but yeah, I'll let you get to some film here.
I was just showing. I mean, when you were describing everything about this, I was like, I gotta find the one of the reps, because it was almost like exactly what you were talking about.
Yep.
But like, look at one of the things I noticed watching back is how incredible he is at getting to his step at the snap of a ball. Look, like he's first at the very snap of the ball. He's the very first lineman to get out of his step.
Yep.
Look at that. Like, I was like, golly. And then not only that, but just the length of his legs. I'll let you guys talk about this, but he gets a step out there so quick. I mean, this is like, that's the only players I've seen be able to do something like this is like that play on Sunday. There's a Jawan Taylor for the Chiefs that has a really crazy first step, but he was consistently like the first guy to get out of his stance every single time, and he times the snap, which gives him such a huge advantage on the defensive lineman to get into that space and eliminate angles. I'll let you guys talk what you guys see out of this.
Well, one of the things you look at immediately is that your instinct as a tackle is to open the gate. And what I mean by that, if you picture his right foot as a hinge or where the gate's attached, a lot of times you'll see tackles, especially young tackles, they'll open up 90 degrees, right? If his right foot was planted in the ground, they'll open up 90 degrees. And what that does for that DN is it would give them a sharper angle to get to your quarterback, right? And you lose all your power. But if you look at how he steps right there when he beats everybody off the ball, you see his shoulders initially stay square. You see his shoulders, he doesn't open the gate on the guy, but he doesn't overstep either and give up the inside.
Yep.
Right? Because the cardinal sin of pass protection, especially from a tackle standpoint, is oversetting, getting beat to the inside, because that's when you get your quarterback hurt, right?
Yep.
And just that right there, and not being in a hurry, you combine all those things, and it shows you how confident this young man is in what he's doing and why he is a natural. Because you got a wide 9 here. He's out super wide. No doubt he's way faster than you. He's more athletic than you, all those type of things. And you can look really, really bad out there. And we've seen it. Everybody's seen it. Lawrence Taylor used to do it to guys every Sunday. But if you do anything wrong, you're getting your quarterback killed. But it's amazing to me that the staff is 100% confident in this kid to go open set. He gets no help, right? He's one-on-one. He's out on an island, and he just does everything right. Doesn't get in a hurry. First start under the lights. Big time college football game. OU Michigan college game days there. The band's playing. Pretty girls are there. Everything going on, and he is just unaffected by all of it. And that's what is the most amazing thing to me. And he's just going to get better and better, right? He made mistakes here and there. You'd like to see him stay a little bit stronger there and not get driven back like he did. But from a technique standpoint, you like what you see.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing too, is, I think what you're seeing from him is with how calm he looks, you can tell he trusts his technique, right? There's no panic in him. You're not seeing him two-hand punching, overextending. You're not seeing any of that. Like, you see the flexibility in his sets. He's not coming out of his set playing high where guys are getting into his chest and underneath him and blowing him back into mateer. That's just not something that you normally would see from a freshman here. So, and there's some other clips earlier in the game too. There's one clip in particular. I'm going to try to find it to bring it up to you, Rob, that I'm talking about, where you see his anchor and you see him refit to get underneath the rusher. That was like, dude, that's big time right there.
Yeah,
it's clip 11.
Clip 11. Okay.
Yes, sir. This is inside the 10. This is the first drive of the game.
I'm just gonna let it roll, and then we can go back slow motion. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he refits it underneath.
Yep. Wow. No, that's your reset tool, man.
That was, and how quickly he stabs. His weight distribution is not great, on initial contact, but he refits, gathers his balance and sets anchor, and it's reps over.
And look, he's the first one to step again.
And you see that first step, the direction in which he goes, staying square. I can't overemphasize that. He's not giving the edge. He is not giving the edge, but he's not overstepping either to where the guy can't beat him inside.
Yep.
100%. That takes some work. That is that's not just, hey, I'm talented and I can do whatever I want. This is like I said, that watching him, I'm like, this guy has been working technique like a madman for as young as he is. Like, he's had some really great teachers, Binomo, of course, but I bet you there's, I don't know anything about him as far as his background, but this is really, really good.
Look at that, dude. And that's a straight bull rush.
If you look at the O-line as a whole, you look at what Ozeata does one-on-one right there. This play isn't possible if he gets driven back in the quarterback. And you got a solid pocket that Michigan can't collapse. This is just a great rep all the way around.
Yep.
You like to see, that was borderline there on the right side.
Yeah.
If he grabs right there, you might get whistled for a hold, but he gets enough on the guy to make it possible for mateer to escape.
Yep.
But definitely out of all this, Fasusi's probably the prettiest, right? And that's what makes NFL GMs go ooh and ah, all that stuff. But that was a really good rep by the group as a whole.
Yep. Yeah, there's a good pocket there. This isn't a pocket collapse because of them. This is more of a pocket collapse because the play call. The defense just had us dead to rights on our call. So so what? But this is a great pocket. He could have sat there for a while. He's just trying to make a play. He could have sat there for quite a while because these guys are just sitting there and he's going to fall on his butt.
Yeah, so. and what you see from Ozeata there, he did that multiple times throughout the game. In one-on-one, just anchor. You see the physicality from him.
Look at
Ozeata played extremely well for his first start this season.
Look at his calves, man. Those legs are huge. Like he's got some thick ankles, man. Those are some. Yeah, I've always there was some spring ball tape of that I saw from James Hale where it was Ozeata versus Grayson Halton, and Halton did his thing, great pass rusher, but Ozeata beat him twice, back to back, 1-on-1. I was like,
Yep.
golly, that's one of our best pass rushers. And Ozeata was just handle him. The bull rush, it was a couple of bull rushes, I believe. But yeah,
Look at that.
yeah,
You see
he's a good
Ozeata's left hand? Off the initial rush, watch his left hand. He initially gets pushed back, watch his left. All right, and let me get underneath you.
And what's funny there too is Fasusi does the exact same thing.
Yep.
I don't know if it's synchronized or not.
Right.
But watch them.
Watch
reset.
Both refit.
It's
literally
almost at the same time. That's insane.
Is that Beatembo's coaching? Is that possibly like, hey, on this, like, you know, your cadence, your maybe not a cadence, but it's just like, hey, because of reps and practice, you're gonna get a guy that's trying to bull rush you, overpower you, work that hand. You know, maybe they're drilling it where they're just like, get that hand back underneath, get that hand back underneath, get that hand back underneath. They've just been drilling it.
Well, look at that anchor too.
Back in the Stone Age, everything was a punch, one punch, right? And now you hear coaches talking about independent hands. I think Alex touched on that here a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Having independent hands, meaning that you don't have to punch with both hands, because if you stand up and you try to punch the air,
right,
if you're in a fight, you're never going to punch with both hands. It's always one or the other, right? But that's what boxers do. And it's the same thing for offensive line.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would like to see Mateer escape to the left here is my only complaint about that play.
Yeah.
He could have went in between Ozeata and Fasusi there and probably had a little bit more of a productive play.
Yeah, and I remember seeing it was the Miami O-line coach Alex Maribel, who would take to work independent hands. He would take tennis balls and throw them back and forth to get them to like move their hands independently. Like it's a small like spring game, like spring practice type stuff to warm up. But he you know, that was one of his drills, was to throw tennis balls back and forth to get them to work their hands separately, so they don't do exactly what you're saying, the double punch. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, that we can go back into the film here in a minute, but yeah, I thought Fasusi looked really, really good and just so more advanced than I've ever seen a left tackle, a rookie tackle making his debut in week 2. You know, he's only been here for 6 months. Like, he's gone through spring and summer, and he's gonna rock and roll. And I feel like solidifying that left tackle spot almost unlocks the entire offense, because you can now you've got your left tackles finished, and then you've got Simmons and Howland now that can battle for right tackle. And if one of them goes down, I don't remember a day and age where you had 3 offensive tackles that could start for you for an entire game. It's almost in the last few years, it's always been, we have to play this guy. You know, there's always been a situation where we would have one good, we had Anton Harrison, but we'd always have a shuffle. Having 3 guys, I mean, there's a lot of teams that don't have one.
Well, also, and the thing is too, is if Sexton, I don't know what Sexton's injury was, but technically you'd have 4, because Sexton's sitting there too. 4. Yeah, so you have 4 guys that, you know, Beatembo, I'm going to bet trust all 4 of them that, hey, if they're on the field, the job's going to get done. So yeah.
Well, and to that point, you fast forward to next year, right? You've got Fasusi and Ozeata on the left side. You still got EPL waiting in the wings.
Yep.
Right. You know, you've got, you know, Foji, who's been filling in there on the right side, that played in game 1. And then Howland plugs in at right tackle. And in the meantime, you got Autry Dent waiting in the wings.
Yep.
You still got Jake Taylor, who is a junior this year. And depending on whether or not they redshirt Sexton and just let him get healthy, I mean, you could have that too. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. Yep. And in response to you, Mr. Dillegaff, EPL, he's a guard all the way. I'd love to see that guy at center, is where I'd like to see him. But, you know, you got Maiikula is also a junior, so you got him for 2 years also.
Yep. Yeah, Maiikula is a guy that played extremely well, and I didn't even realize he was 299 pounds. Like, he's pretty undersized at 299. It's 6'5". He brings good length on his arms. But yeah, I mean, he's another one in this game that had a really good performance. So that's the other thing, right? Too, is not only do you have the depth at tackle, you've got depth at center. You got Maiikula, and then if he comes off the field, you got Everett, who's played center. I don't know, probably about 3 years of his career. Played guard a little bit there. I think last year or the year before that. So you got an offensive line now that has depth, but also is extremely talented. So that's a good recipe to have there for beating Mo.
Yeah, and Brad Bleakley, I hope I didn't mutilate your name there, is asking us, does Fasusi have any tells like young players do, like giving the defense run plays, pass plays, etc.? Maybe you saw something, Alex, but I mean, there's nothing glaring that jumps off the page, right? I mean, I'm sure everybody's got to tell, right? But I didn't see it. It's not glaring at this point. So as we watch him more, it might be, but it's not like the tackle that you mentioned from Kansas City that jumps off sides all the time. You know when it's a pass. Not that Andy Reid's ever going to run the football anyway, but but no, right now, Brad, I don't see anything that really jumps out as far as the tell goes.
You guys keep sending in questions. This is if you want any knowledge of trench warfare, these are the two guys that give it to you. So keep sending them in. Okay, let's go ahead and jump to a couple plays. Alex, you sent me 3 of them. So let's start with this clip 46.
Yeah, I believe this is the touchdown run by Mateer, is it not?
Yes.
Yep, it is. Yep. This is the GY counter that he scores on that. I mean, it just kind of comes together nicely for him. As you see here, they flip the formation. There's a lot of stuff going on this right here that
went unbalanced
to deal with. Look at that.
Great block by Kanik. Kanik came out to play, man. Like I thought he had a little shaky week 1, and man, he really took care of the business, man.
Yeah. See, with that play design, man, I like what happened here with how they flipped Blaylock to the other side. So the tight ends flip, but then Blaylock comes around Mateer, and then when he goes out on the swing route over here, watch 20. Just pulls a defender out of the box. Look at that. Nice. There goes 20. So now look, it's just green grass. But then when you slow it down and go back, you see it all come together and how this play unfolds. Yeah, so right here you're going to have Ozeata coming across the left guard. Then you're going to have Kanik that's lined up behind the inline tight end. Look at that.
Boom. Great block by Kanik.
Yeah.
Good block by Ozeata. Man, I watched this play. I didn't even notice that the motion there.
You look at this. They call that a trade. A lot of people call it trade. Where you move both tight ends over. Now pause it right when everybody gets set on defense. Right here. Okay, draw a line from the center to the umpire, right down the middle.
Yep.
Right. So if you've read any of the trench warfare stuff, running the football, and one of my friends, he gets so pissed at me when we play Madden. I will sit there and I will outnumber him at the point of attack, and it is 4 yards in a cloud of dust and maybe a play action if God tells me to, right? But this is what it is, right? If you look to the right, you got 4 guys, you got 3 guys on the left, right? But you're outnumbered on the left right now until Blaylock moves over, if you're going to go quarterback run, right?
Yeah.
But if you pull your guard and your tight end, which is the G and the GY counter, and the Y is the Y receiver or the tight end, now you've got a +2 because your quarterback's running the football. You would be +1 if he turns and just hands it to Blaylock, which technically you could do. But you've just created a numbers advantage, and when you snap the ball, watch the backside. You watch the center block back. You've got the tackle Fasusi steps down and hinges, and then you've got your tight end with his hand in the dirt, staying at home. Watch how smooth this looks on the backside, because for a play like this, you need time to let it develop.
Yep.
And how many times in the past when you saw Riley's GT counter, did
Backside.
it get shut down from the backside
Yep.
because they didn't keep anybody at home?
Yep.
Right. But
Gotta
that's
cap it.
this is the beauty of this, where if you just let it roll a little bit, watch how smooth this looks on the backside to our right or the offensive left as it rolls. It just looks really, really smooth on the back end.
Yeah.
See that right there? Bang, bang, bang. All three of those guys.
They're all accounted for.
They're all accounted for. Now, once Ozeata gets over there, his pad level's too high, and that's why he gets blasted right here. He gets enough on the guy,
Yeah.
but I'd like to see him not be so straight up and down, and he wouldn't get pushed back. But, the guy came to blast him. And then the other thing right there, good for Canick coming around the corner with bad intentions, because he knocked the snot out of that guy and turned him inside quickly.
Yep.
And another guy that can't be understated on this play in particular is, if you look at our right tackle right here, watch him go laterally, because he gets turned, which is something you're not supposed to do when you're doing a combo block with your guard. You want him to stay a little bit more square. But watch him get up to that number 15. Once he gets his shoulders turned, and this is something that not a lot of people can do. He gets his shoulders turned, and he still makes it up and gets a pretty good block on that backside backer.
Yeah.
See how he's turned right there? Now watch him get sideways. That is so hard to do, and he made it look really, really easy against Michigan.
Yeah.
Right.
That movement is what he showed that at Western Carolina, which was a big reason why I was an advocate of him being on the field and getting the starting job here. He moves extremely well as an offensive tackle, getting to that second level. So what you see here once he releases.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at that. This is what numbers does, because you're at a +2. This is how it should look. When you're at a +2, nobody should get touched. Right? You got everybody blocked.
Yep.
There's nobody, because you always hear the unblocked defender makes the play. Unblocked defender makes the play. Who's the unblocked defender? There isn't one. Right?
Yep.
There isn't one. If there is one, he's not in the screen. Right? So
that's why that Blaylock flipping to the other side and swinging out into the flat, pulling that safety out was huge.
Gigantic. And it's those little subtle things, and then keeping your tight end at home on the backside and your tackle to hinge block.
Yep.
And wall off that backside. That shuts guys down, like our Mason Thomas and our guys that are going to be hyper aggressive trying to shut it down from the backside. Right.
Yep.
So that's why all of that stuff's important, because everything about this formation to start with the motion and everything else screams that you're going to the offensive left or the defensive right.
Yep.
Everything. And then they go the other way, and they create a +2 numbers advantage. And, so there it is. You got 5 versus 3 defenders.
Yep. JY's been preaching numbers for years, man. There were so many years that Riley would run, or, different years, even when it wasn't Riley, that you would see them in the running game run where they didn't have numbers, and the play would just get blown up. And it was frustrating as hell to watch. So,
yeah, because immediately everybody's chirping about the offensive line. Right?
Yep.
Oh, the O-line. Oh, my God. No, they don't suck, guys. It's basic math. 3 guys can't block 5.
Right.
I'm just saying.
They must have seen this on film. They must have saw this right here in the red zone and because you usually don't have a safety that's pushing with RB. Usually it's a backer, but because they're in the low red here, they probably started I guess they saw on film that they were pushing the safety with the flat. That's savvy, man. It's real savvy.
Yep. I think the other thing here too to call out is like what JY mentioned with Ozeata being high is Derek Moore comes downhill and blasts him there whenever he's pulling. But what you see is he does enough to occupy him. Right? He swings that arm around to give him a club around the back. It occupies him enough that there's nothing he can do once that happens, right? See, he just he doesn't even completely he has no idea where the ball is once he blasts him. But all he did basically here is just occupy him. Right, that was enough. Simmons just gets enough of a chuck on him. It's not always going to be you're gonna see a lineman grab a hold of a guy and run him 10 yards downfield and just bury him into the dirt. Sometimes just occupying him gets the job done. So yeah, that was a lot of stuff happening before that play snapped that Michigan had to account for that played into OU's favor. So that's a heck of a play. It's kind of nice having an OC that does this kind of thing again.
Yeah, definitely, and it's encouraging being on the 11 or 12 yard line in the red zone against a team that prides themselves on being physical and stopping the run, and you go in untouched on the ground.
Okay, this is not a big play. This is not a big play. I mean, as far as like a touchdown or a 50-yard gain or anything, this was a 3rd and 3. Right here, JY. This is duo, and I'll let you watch this and see what you think here. But 3rd and 3, man, just running downhill. And again, this is a true freshman running back. Just his ability to see it and get downhill as quickly as possible moves the change.
And for us civilian types, what does duo mean, Alex?
Duo is you're getting double teams across the O-line as much as possible, right? The alignment can dictate where you don't get double teams. But what you're going to see right here is your center and your left guard are going to double this nose guard right here. And then what you have is Fasusi is going to come onto the basically your 3 tech. He's going to come over here and do everything he can to seal that 3 tech off. He does just enough that gives Blaylock enough room to get to the outside here and get downhill.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked this play because it kind of gets forgotten and lost with all like the big explosion plays, but it does tell you exactly like Torrey's like it's that decision, the 1-2 go, get up field. It like you made the down and distance, 3rd and 3. We got to have a first down. We got to have a first down now. I'm not dancing behind the line of scrimmage. I'm getting upfield to get this first down.
Yep.
And I liked what I like is like watch how how he just waits to that, like he bends it like just right off their ass to make it tight. You got to stay tight. And then the way that he explodes around because if he just shoots there's a chance that 44 can reset, but he's just patient enough and then gets upfield just perfect enough. Because if he waited just a little too longer, 44 could probably work his way back outside.
Yep.
But I thought it was he gets up field in a hurry.
Yep.
In a hurry.
Go back to that play.
Yeah, I will.
Would. Okay. On my trench warfare stuff, I've always talked about, obviously like we did with the numbers the last time, but you'll always hear me too talking about as an offensive lineman playing with your eyes. Okay. Because in duo, especially when you're doing that double team, you're working up to a backer. It's also called a combo block for us old people, right? Mm-hmm. Is what they used to call it, right? So Maiikula here, your center, makes one hell of a block here, and it's small, and it's something that if you're not looking for it, you won't see it. But body language tells you everything. If you look at the feet of number 23, watch his feet right before the snap. It's very rare that a defensive player is disciplined enough to keep their feet unstaggered like they're not coming, right? Yep. So Michael is playing with his eyes. They're going to show you what they're going to do because that's human nature, right? They've got to tell, just like what we talked about here a little bit earlier.
Yep.
But Michael plays with his eyes, okay? So if you let it roll, initially they've got a double team, but this is how fast it happens here. Him and Ozeata, he's playing with his eyes because if you look at his head, his eyes are on 23 the whole time. He comes off and cuts that off because if 23 goes through there, he blows up that mesh point.
Yep.
Right? He blows that up right there. And what that did, that gives – it's almost like a pocket not getting collapsed on a pass play, but you get a stalemate in there, like Alex was talking about. You get enough on the guy to where it doesn't collapse it in the back. And all Fasusi does here out on the right or on the left, rather, is if that guy wants to go inside, let him go inside and you wash him down, right?
Yep.
And because of the RPO action off of this, you got Canick out there that draws that guy out because that's his coverage responsibility right there, number 33. So immediately, again, playing with your eyes, not only Maiikula's doing it, Fasusi's doing it because he's washing the guy down inside, but Blaylock's doing it. All three of them are playing with their eyes, right? Because as all this stuff's happening, he knows if you do your homework, 33's got to cover Canick, right? And then Fasusi washes that guy down. Where's my weak point? Where's my daylight, right? It's going to be, it becomes a C gap play, right? Which means it's outside of the tackle. That's your C gap, right? And so the mental aspect of it and the preparation is just as important as the athletic ability right here. Because if any of them does the wrong thing, and this is why knowing everybody's position and everybody's job, if they do this, then we do that. That's why studying and watching film with your guys is so important.
Yep.
Very smooth.
Yeah. And Maiikula plays it exactly how he's supposed to. Because, JY, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but on duo, you're always going to play to your backside gap first.
Yeah, you got to go duo basically is a poor man's term for double team, right?
Yep.
That's what it is. Like you said, double teams across the front. So you're going to find that front side double team, and then you got to, like you said, play to the backside. So 23's coming, and if Maiikula doesn't pick that guy up, we're in trouble.
Yep.
Right? We're in trouble. Because if Mateer has to pull that, if 33 crashes down right here, if he comes down in there on Blaylock, then he's going to pull that, and then he's going to throw it or run it.
Yep.
He's going to throw it out to Canick, or he's going to pull it and run it. One of the two, right?
Yep.
He can do any of those things.
I'm actually kind of curious what route Canick is running here. See what you got formation as boundary.
So can you rewind that just a little bit again? I want to show you something.
You want me to go to the other view?
No, I think actually, hang on, hit play real quick. I want to see, because what they do is at first they send Blaylock out. Okay, right here, and then I think they call him. Yeah, but see here they call him back. Look, pause that real quick. They did that, and then did you see what Michigan did? Exactly what Jay was just talking about. 23 is showing that he's coming. So when I watched this initially, I said, okay, let's see if they check out of it. They did not. They stay exactly with what they showed they were coming with initially. So then he brings Blaylock back in, right? So it's just he's just playing with the defense to see what they're showing, and then you get what he runs. Middle linebacker comes straight down the middle, picks it up. Blaylock gets downhill. That's it.
No, they got a now screen outside. That's what that's what's holding them.
Which held 33 outside.
Yeah, that's why 33 triggered.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with this offense.
So if 33 stays, if 33 crashes, then Canick's going to work up to that one of those guys that's probably on the hash mark or the numbers right there, that number 40, and block him, and he's going to throw it to Burks on the outside, right? Because now you got a numbers advantage because you got Burks one-on-one with the guy on the 41-yard line, the other side. Over
Burks is right here.
Yeah, he's talking about the top side. Yeah, he's talking about the top side.
Yeah. So watch the guy that drops back on the now screen right there. If 33 crashes inside, Canick's going to block the guy standing on the 40, right?
Yep.
See the 4-0. And then now your receiver doesn't have anybody to beat really, other than the guy who's in between the numbers and the hash. That's who he's going to be one-on-one with if that 33 crashes down on Blaylock right there.
Yep.
Very cool.
Gosh.
Yeah, there is a lot going on.
There's a lot going on pre-snap that Arbuckle's doing. That's playing with the defense to not only to get them to show what they're running, right? He's making them show their hand ahead of time and then either adjusting to it or just saying, hey, all right, that's what you're going to do. Then we're going to switch to this.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. All right, let's go to this next big pass play.
Yep. I'll let JY talk about this because this is what he was talking about earlier.
Yeah. So
I'll just let it play and we come back.
Sure.
Such a pretty ball.
So you look at this thing, right? And what the offensive line, if you look on the left side where Fasusi's at, they're doing what we call fanning the protection, right? Like you look at one of those old fans that people used to use in the theater a long time ago, right?
Yep.
They're fanning out, right? They're opening up. So Fasusi takes the wide 9, and then you got B gap responsibilities if you're the guard. And
Yep.
if I'm the center, I got to stay big on big. Okay. That's called bob protection, big on big. Okay. Because you don't want to turn a big guy loose. Okay. So with that, you go back to the numbers and let's look at how many we got.
Yeah.
Across the
free
front.
Snap.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yep. There you go. So
because
you
Michigan
got
plays with it a little bit here.
Yeah. You got 6 guys in the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you know right now your tight end's going out. So you got 6 on 5. So this is really heady play by Mateer, knowing he doesn't have enough guys to block everybody who's coming. Right?
Yep.
And knowing the offense well enough to know how much time do I have, and knowing my receiver well enough, how much time do I need for that guy to make his double move and get open. Because like I said before, they're going to tell you what they're going to do. So as this thing gets ready to snap and they start walking up, you see them here, they all come. And then they bring a delay blitz at the end, which is damn hard to pick up if you're an O-lineman, right?
Yep.
But the running back's gone. He's not anywhere to be seen. So Mateer knows that. That's who he's probably looking at. Who's my most immediate threat? You know, if he's a quarterback, not that I could ever play quarterback, but who's my most immediate threat? And that's your Mike Backer. And here he comes. And he's got to feel that. And the great ones can feel it. Don't have to necessarily always see it, but he feels it and he gets rid of it just in time.
Yep. Yeah, you see they showed 6. They bring that delayed blitz up the middle from the middle linebacker there, but they drop their DN basically peels off. So you'll see right here, he drops. He's looking at the tight end, and he kind of just stays right there. Look at him. So they only bring 5. They showed 6, bring 5 with a delayed blitz. But look at what the O-line does. Look at Ozeata right there at left guard, pick up the linebacker with ease. Fasusi and Ott handle the edge. And then you got Maiikula in the middle there doing what he needed to do on what JY said, big on big. So across the board, it was taken care of. That they couldn't have executed that any better.
Yeah, and you look at Ozeata and Maiikula right there. They didn't get pushed back, right?
No.
So go ahead, Rob.
Is this a green dog blitz? Is this backer reading the running back? If the running back stays in pass protection, it gives him the green light to go.
Well, I think what they were doing is they wanted to make it seem like that wide 9 up there on the outside of Simmons was coming, right? And so this is a Wink Martindale thing with his NFL experience. He wants to think everybody's coming, right? So that forces you to fan out on both sides, right? Which is basically what they do. Simmons ends up coming down looking for work, but if that guy comes, that outside guy is his. But really, all he's doing, Martindale, the defensive coordinator, he's forcing Oklahoma to choose, basically. And he's just bringing it on a delay blitz, right? I call it a delay blitz because it doesn't come right away.
Agreed. Yeah, look at that. Look at Maiikula.
And that's not a deal where, our offensive line sucks, our quarterback just got hit. They bring more than you can block.
Yep.
Right. Because
and honestly,
have to make it.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, honestly, what they're running is that they're slanting. They slant their it looks like he's a 2-eye.
Yeah.
They slant both their 2 eyes, right? And then you have your middle linebacker almost basically as the looper, basically, right? So it's pretty much a stunt with the middle linebacker on a delayed.
Yeah. Because if you look at that, to Alex's point, the nose is trying to go to our left or Michaela's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that opens up that gap on the right side for the defense. So basically it's like blocking for your middle linebacker if you're a D-line.
Yep. And then Mateer just, hits a dart down the right side.
But yeah, here, you're backed up in your own end zone. You got a true freshman left tackle making his first start. I don't know how much time's on the clock here, or what quarter it even is.
Oh, this is still the first quarter.
Yeah. So you're trusting Boy Wonder to go one-on-one with one of the blue blood defensive end in college football, right? I mean, there it is. If that's not trust from your offensive staff, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yeah, great play call against cover 1 too. I mean, in this corner, I mean, Burks just breaks his ankles there a little bit.
Yeah.
And just gets free.
Oh,
and
Mateer knew pre-snap too, looking at that he had Burks in single coverage. Like he knew he was probably going there. He's looking at this safety, right? I'm pointing like you can see me. The safety right there up above a little bit more, where your mouse was, number 3, up a little higher. So watch that safety right here. So because this other safety right here is playing, he's playing basically almost, it's pretty much a single high look now. When you snap it, watch 3, and then watch exactly what Mateer does. Snap. He's going to look right. Look at 3. He pulls down. All right, cool. There's no safety over there. Nothing.
He never looks at Burks. Ever.
No.
So Mateer's got to look at multiple things right here. He's got to know my Mike backer's coming. I got to know that I got nobody to block him. And I got to figure out, like Alex is saying, this safety's creeping down, and I got just this much time to get rid of the football.
Delivers a dart too, knowing he's about to get hit. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's huevos.
Yep. Yeah, that was a huge play.
Yeah, and again, you look at body language. Playing with your eyes. There's that single high. He's in the middle of the field. He's almost to the other hash. He starts off and he's darn near on the other hash, right there on the 18, right?
Yep.
So he can't get over there. It's too much ground to cover.
No
way. Yeah, also got to call out Ott here. It looks like off the snap, he's just going to run a swing route, right? Because Fasusi actually here, even though he's coming off one-on-one right there, right? Fasusi's actually beat right there. But Ott going out into that swing route picks up this edge. Watch, you'll see him give him a chuck. Watch this. Watch Ott. See, just drops his shoulder, picks him up for him, takes care of it.
All right, let's that was great. Let's find a couple of run plays. I was trying to find some running back run plays.
Yeah, this is GT counter right here.
Yep.
Look at that. So again, Jay, I'll let you go first on this again.
Yeah, I love this. I think that let me back up here. Ott is a zone guy, okay? And what that means is he's one cut up the field, all that stuff. To me, Javonte Barnes is better suited in a gap scheme, which is what GT counter is, which is what G lead is, pin and pull, power, all that kind of stuff, right? So
takes the guessing out of his he if he follows his rules, he knows exactly where he's supposed to go. Like that's it
does, and he's really, really disciplined on this. This is a hell of a run by Barnes right here because he stays up inside of his guard. A lot of running backs are going to try to bounce this outside, right? Because it's the hole is there, but it's small, right? It's not very big.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Michigan DN right there, before Wee Woo, and I love if you could see that on the other side, what Wee Woo does, you talk about resetting. That's a textbook lead block because he ends up pancaking the DN.
Yes.
But at initial impact, that DN does his job and he slows him down and he gets a stalemate right there.
Yep.
Right? He doesn't give up any ground. And then your tackle coming through Simmons, you got to stay on your feet, man. We don't want to. Simmons can't fall down right there. But they do a really good job of, talking about a cliche, getting a hat on a hat.
Yep.
And then Barnes just follows them up inside. If Canick does a little bit better getting something on that guy, then he's probably 10 yards further downfield right here.
Yep.
Right there. Right. You see Canick, let's get up and get a little bit more on that guy. Lock him up. And don't let him come off. He's right up there on the hash fighting.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. If you go back a little more, to the start of it is calling out what we mentioned about Simmons earlier too, right? What happens, it looks like, is he gets caught in the wash from behind. It looks like Ozeata gets blown back by 26. But watch, you'll see, look at Simmons coming through the hole, picks up his man, and then look at Ozeata. See, he's high right there. Now watch what happens. Ozeata gets blown backwards, and he actually falls into Simmons' legs. That knocks Simmons down.
Yeah.
But look at Barnes. With how physical Barnes is, man, he just runs through tacklers. That's where Barnes is at his best right there, is just running through tacklers, man.
And this is since probably the early 2000s when Mangino was our offensive coordinator. One of the alumni for Oklahoma, one of my friends, Jim Riley, played for the 72 Dolphins. He said something that was really profound to me as a young kid. And he was talking about Mangino and the coaching staff. He was just so excited for the staff, Bob Stoops and all those guys coming in. He said, one of the things that's really great about this staff is they don't ask their players to do things that they know they can't do. And to that point in my life, as a 19, 20-year-old kid, I'd never heard anybody talk about football like that. It was always, you got to fit into whatever mold a coach says you have to do, or you just suck, right? But the best coaches, and Arbuckle's showing signs of it, I don't want to anoint him just yet, but if he can do stuff like this and let Barnes run gap style stuff, he can be a weapon for this team. Just let people do what they're good at.
Yeah. Look how skinny he gets to get through that hole, man. Like that is. Yeah, he's getting skinny here to get fit in between into his hole there, and makes a great gets upfield. I put this in there because I wouldn't say it was harsh on Barnes, but after week 1, I was like, man, he was wrong too many times, and so I wanted to give him some props for this game versus Michigan because I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, Connect basically gets stalemated right there, almost takes the air out of the hole completely. Yeah. You see right here, and Waywu seals his man off because Derek Moore's slant. He tries to take an inside route, and Waywu gets his outside hand around his back and just seals him off inside. And then watch, you'll see Connect right here kind of just gets stalemated there. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice job by Barnes.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one. Let me find one where the one that I saw that it was I think it was maybe this one. The one that we almost boomed. Yeah, it's this one. So I'll play this one out. This is one that we almost popped. Like it was so close. Fasusi made a mistake, but that counter boom, that counter explosive play was almost there. I'll let it play. Oops. Get stuffed. But again, this is just GT counter.
Yep.
And you get Ozeata kick out. Fasusi tries to run. And he should have wrapped inside. He would have taken 6. Everyone else does. I mean, this is where, you've got a run play. And if one person doesn't do their job, you can. I like the block here with Maiikula blocking down on a 4-eye. I think that is a really tough block to make. I'll let you guys talk about that one. I thought he did a pretty good job. I mean, that's a really far down block.
It is. I mean, he's a B-gap player, but getting back that far, it's something you got to feel out, man. You got to be able to get lateral if he goes up the field and gets in the hip pocket of that guard and the tackle right there. Depending on if they got a slant on, man, it's going to be a long day for you if he's trying to jump in that B-gap right there. So, and this is the stuff we're talking about with Fasusi being a young player and stuff that he needs to work on, right? It's between the ears stuff, right? He's got to be the Q-tip on this play, right? He's got to swab the hole. That's like you said, he's got to fill that gap because again, it's a numbers game, right? If he gets his guy, we're out the gate. Smack, get up in the hole, and then let him follow you. because everybody else is blocked, right? Like right there, if he comes right up through there, there it is right there.
Boom.
Yep.
It's not that big, but nobody else is home.
Right. And he and this guy that, gets missed ends
Yep.
up making the play. But
Yep.
no, I mean, that's where it's like, counter is one of those boomer. I always felt like it's kind of one of those boomer bust plays because you've got so many, you're vacating gaps and then you're pulling guys. Like you're going to end up having either a play that is like what we just saw, or you're going to have a play like 2 plays ago that goes for 8-9 yards, like Barnes. But
well, and this is
almost
getting
popped
reps.
it.
Yeah, sorry. This
Yeah.
is getting reps as a unit and getting
Oh, of
used to
course.
playing with each other, right?
Oh yeah.
Knowing what it's going to look like when you come around the corner. Because for me, I'm a guy, I've got to do it. I've got to see it. You can talk about it all day. You can explain it 20 different ways. I got to do it. I've got to see it, right? And for Fasusi and these other guys, they're going to run a bunch of different looks at them in practice. And the more they see this when the lights are on and the bullets are flying, that's where they're going to get better. And this is the stuff that they're going to be able to clean up, right? And that's going to look a lot cleaner in a few weeks than it does right now. But even first time as a unit playing together, it's damn impressive to be able to do that against Michigan. Even though it doesn't look very clean, you're not getting pushed back.
Right.
They're Black Sox.
Well, guys, is there anything else you guys want? Any other plays that stick out that you guys want to see? I think we've gone through quite a few. This is the 7-man pressure cover 0 play that Mateer just flicked it out.
Oh yeah.
I felt like Derek Moore. I mean, from the rules I've been taught, if you're running a 7-man pressure, you cannot allow the running back to get outside of you. I felt like Derek Moore tried to get hands on him, and it didn't lay enough. You see how he tries to get his hands on him, he just lets him go. If Moore just gets a piece of Barnes, this play probably doesn't happen. But Barnes is elusive enough just to get away from him and then get open and have soft hands. Look at that outstretched catch.
Yeah.
For a big play. I thought Barnes had a good game.
He did.
I'm happy he had what I would call like a bounce back game.
And I'll tell you what, he also he had a good game in regards to in the blocking game. He had a big block on that first touchdown to Burks on the jet sweep, and then he had a big block on a blitz pickup, picking up I think it was Barham, where he picked up Barham in the hole, and it was a hell of a block too. So he did his job as a blocker, which there's no doubting Barnes when it comes to his physicality. Obviously, you see right there. So
go back to pre-snap on that. I want to point something out. So right as they get lined up, okay, let's wait for them to get. All right, go ahead and stop it. Right there. All right, go ahead and stop it. All right. Draw a line again from your center to the umpire. Right. You got 4 guys. I've got my center, I've got my guard, and I've got my tackle. I've got 3 guys to block 4. Right. And on the right side, I've got 2 guys to block 3. Right. So immediately the rule is I got to do Bob protection. I got to get big on big. Right. Okay. So I got to get my big guys on my big guys. So if I'm going to let anybody go, it's going to be the outside guy. But if we're outnumbered like this on the left side, what are you going to do? I got to do something because the 4 guys are coming. They're telling me they're coming. You look at their feet. They're not leaning in there because they're getting ready to, swing a bat, right? They're coming, right? So as soon as the ball snapped, this is a great job by your center, your guard, and your tackle. You watch Ozeata, it looks like he gets beat if you're not paying attention, but he's trying to block 2 guys, right? So just go ahead and let it roll a little bit.
Yeah, it turns into Yep, Michael and Ozeata both end up blocking 2 at certain points of that rush.
Yep, he's trying to be as big as he can be, right? Get as big as you can be. You hear a D lineman talking about getting skinny, splitting a double team. as an O lineman, sometimes in pass pro, you got to get as big as you can get. You get something on the guy, just something. Try to slow him down a little bit, because that little half a tick allows Barnes to clear and lets Mateer just throw the lollipop over the top.
Yep.
See, that's a big deal right there. I mean, that's stuff that you can't see, because in the meantime, the average fan's looking at, oh man, our quarterback's going to get hit. The O-line sucks and everything. But you just block two guys, right? You just block two guys.
Yep. I say the last one we can look at, Rob, after this one is clip 3.
Clip 3? Okay.
Yeah, the first third down of the game. This is the big throw to connect. The big, I should say big catch too. Look at how the O-line handles that right there. I mean, that's a hell of a catch by Connect.
This is Verts. Yeah.
Yeah. See, they're showing 5 pre-snap.
Yeah, that's pretty.
They actually end up dropping Houseman, so he shows, but he drops.
Yep.
But look at how they handle this. It's just 4. It's 5 on 4. So, but watch Maiikula come over and help Weiwu. Ozeata takes care of Benny. I think that's his last name. 26. Look at Ozeata just shut down 26 right here. Just
stonewalls him.
Just easy anchor, and then almost turns it into a run block with how he finishes that block. And then obviously.
And it's a small thing right here, but it's a big thing too, right? How Alex was talking about Maiikula. How tall is John Mateer? Do we know? Is he like 6'1", 6 foot?
I think he's 6'2".
Yeah, I was going to say 6'2".
He's not like Drew Bledsoe. He's not like 6'5" or anything like that. Right? So you watch what Maiikula does. He goes what we call looking for work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because his threat drops. You watch Maiikula on the snap. As soon as the linebacker drops out, watch his head. He sees that guy going. Now what does he do? He
immediately.
looks, bang, just quick. And it's got to happen that fast. But he knows, guy comes from Stanford. He's a smart guy, right? He knows the lane that he needs, because he want to hit the seam right here. He's probably sitting and paying attention in Arbuckle's meetings. We're wanting to hit Canick in the seam right here. So he's got to give Mateer a lane to be able to see Canick running down the seam.
Yep. That's a heck of a play. Obviously, you got Fasusi on the left side right here, one-on-one. Yep. Look at that. Handles him. And then on the right side, Ott ends up chucking the D end. But if you see it, Simmons, watch this rush. So that's Simmons one-on-one against Derek Moore. It's a speed to power. Look at how Simmons absorbs that power rush, but then he's transitioning it to then run him off the loop. But then Ott ends up coming through and helping him. But you can tell how Simmons absorbs that. Watch how he goes to transition and adjust to it. Look at that. He was already starting to turn his hips to then run him off the loop, and then Ott hits him in his ribs.
Yep.
Look, watch him absorb it. Boom. And then look, already you see how he was flipping his hips. He was about to turn and torque him to get him off the loop. Look, this what you're seeing right here is impressive O-line play, man.
It really is. And it really, you look back since Biedenbo's been at Oklahoma, normally it's the Texas game where he figures out who his 5 are, right? Normally they get 3 or 4 games. It's kind of shaky early in the year. You don't really know who they're moving guys around. But after everything I saw on Saturday night, these are the 5. If they stay healthy, these are the 5.
Agreed. Yep. I think
one more time.
Right? Dude, that catch.
Very pretty. No, that catch is awesome.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Canick is gonna. He's turning into a bad man.
Well, with the speed he brings and the size he brings at the position, 230, 240. Not that he's a 265-pound tight end, but he's a linebacker with that kind of speed, man, and how physical he is. He's going to run through arm tackles. This dude's going to be a weapon all season long. Good luck covering him with a linebacker, and he's just going to run through corners and safeties.
You're not going to be able to run cover 2 if you've got Canick that can do this. You're not going to be able to split your safety.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to run cover 2 and play half field coverage like that on either side. That and honestly, and that's why Michigan started running more the cover 3, the running some more the fire zone stuff and get into cover 4 because they had to cap it, right? And then what did we do? We started running those digs and those sticks and stuff underneath it, just chewing yards up and frustrating them. And then, of course, you got into all of Arbuckle's disruptors like the pistol and the MT and formation and boundary, just moving guys around. And yeah, I mean, mechanics could be a problem.
Look at that. Look at the
I mean,
if you play it at normal speed, look at the speed he has, and watch him. Watch this right here.
Let me clear this out real quick.
Yeah.
All these
talking about his burst right here past right when he crosses 30's face. It's
Oh,
not
I mean,
you're going to have a guy that runs a 10.3
what I'm seeing is he reads this and he knows he's getting the ball. Like he sees this and he knows it's my time to shine, and he knows this has been repped out in practice so much.
But again,
he's played the coverage in practice. He knows that they're playing cover 2, and that's not Derek Brooks in the middle, right?
Right.
So he's not thinking about beating number 30 right here. His job is to beat the Mike Backer right here, because that Mike Backer's got a bail on this. In cover 2, right? So, like Alex was talking about, and the reason Mateer has to throw it quick is that's a window, man. That's tight, and he puts it in there.
It's not often you see a tight end or an H-back, man, that ran that's what I was mentioning earlier. I think he ran a 10.3 in high school. Like, you don't see many tight ends and H-backs with that kind of speed, dude. And the biggest surprise with him has been his hands. Like, man, this dude is he's got good hands, man.
No, you took the words out of my mouth. I've been really surprised about how smooth he has been with catching the ball. It's almost like he's got a magnet for hands already, and it's weak too. Yeah, he does. And he played receiver. He played receiver in high school, didn't he?
I think he played running back.
Yeah, he was primarily a Wildcat quarterback.
Yeah,
he was kind of a Swiss Army knife type do-it-all player, and with like we talked about the Weatherford kid, right, playing tight end because Venables is he's a defensive coach, so he's playing D-end, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing with Canick. He sees that 10.37 speed, and he's like, man, I got to put this guy at linebacker. He's huge, he's fast, blah, 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 because you got a defensive head coach, but he may have been an offensive player the whole time.
Yep.
Which is fine.
But also, all the talk about all the skills positions all the time, that play doesn't happen without the O-line doing what they did. So it all starts with that offensive line. Okay.
Jimmy wants to know. I saw your question, Jimmy. I was like, I know where that play is. So this is a pylon. So they're running. You got curls, and then you're gonna get a flat, and this guy actually. I believe that is Lewis. Get to the feet of the safety. Work your butt to the pylon. Ah, my gosh, what the heck happened? Work your to the feet of the safety. Work to the pylon, and it did it again. That's weird. And this is where I went through this on Sunday. It because of Mateer's legs, it turns into play number 2, and he's able to avoid this edge blitz, knife blitz off the edge, and finds a Satania, who, I mean, they're running man coverage here, and they're locked up on the bunch, and this is what I said on Sunday. I mean, this is a play that is what gives defensive coordinators nightmares, because it's man coverage, and yet as the play breaks down, this guy's eye starts peeking, and Satania just keeps finding work, and this is something where it had to happen in practice at some point, because how smooth he is to go, I see my guy, he's breaking loose, I need to get open, and he just takes off, and then looks back at as a quarterback. I mean, I'm watching this and I'm like, this offense could be super scary if you've got the legs Mateer that can do the play extension, and then you have receivers that have like that awareness to get themselves open, and you get a whole nother play out of one call, two plays in one call. That's something special, man. So I'll let you guys go. I mean, what do you guys see?
Can you go to the end zone view?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I think the first big thing here, obviously, is they bring that rusher off the edge, number 6, right? And Barnes misses it, which you'll see. Barnes is trying to work up, and then he's too late getting his eyes over and seeing the blitzer off the edge. But the biggest thing here is the movement by Mateer in the pocket. Watch the way he steps up, but the way he avoids the rush. He doesn't turn his back. Watch how he steps up, but you see how he stays going upfield, but all he does is just turn his shoulders, right? He gets his shoulders moved and dips underneath them. That is terrific movement right there by your quarterback, man. If he moves any differently than that, he's sacked. But it's the way he moves here that it allows him to avoid. Look at that. See, just contorts his upper body a little bit, doesn't completely turn away from him, and then is able to step through it and gets outside. That's big time movement from your quarterback right there to avoid that.
And keeping the ball with two hands on the ball and keeping it high, knowing that the defender's going low, and you pull it away. Jackson Arnold, go back to Jackson Arnold, Missouri. He's holding the ball below his waist, and he gets hit in his own knee hits the ball and fumbles it, and we lose the game. And then here we go. Yeah.
Yep. So he contorts just like that, dude. But also go back a little bit. I know JY's going to bring up Maiikula and Ozeata. I'll let him talk about that.
I'm going to talk about Simmons too.
Yep, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it, man.
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about, if you watch right here, so whenever they watch the snap, so Benny 26 going to come across Maiikula's face. Look at the positioning. See, gets underneath him, hands are inside, has control.
Yeah.
And then as you watch Ozeata, so what they're doing is they slanted, they're de-tackling more right there, right? So Benny comes across. Watch Ozeata. Ozeata's here you go, number 9 right here, standing up, right? Ozeata's going to follow him all the way to Fasusi, right? What I would like to see from Ozeata right here, he does end up helping Maiikula, but look, Fasusi's already locked up with 9. Look where Ozeata's eyes are. They're still on 9. What I would like to see from him is what JY mentioned earlier. Get your eyes inside quicker, right?
And stay square. He's got to stay square right here.
Yep, he's opened up.
He's been burned on some of those, blitzes, those delayed blitzes in the past, like last year, because he wasn't, his eye control.
Eye control and what JY just said. He's not square, so then he has to readjust him. He has to open back up. So watch. He does get his eyes back over, and then watch him come over, and he just decleats 26. Look at that.
And what you look at there, it's the parallel, what I was talking about with Fasusi earlier. See, Fasusi stays square, and if you go back a half a tick and you just pause it, like right there, okay, that's what opening the gate looks like if you are Ozeata, right? Luckily, he's quick enough, he's athletic enough, he can get back inside, but you got to stay square there and give your left hand and your left foot to Fasusi there on number 9. Right. So that way, if number 1 comes, which they drop him out, but if number 1 comes through there, we're screwed right now.
Yeah. Right? And that's happened before. That's happened before. He's had some of that before.
Right. So the other thing I'd like to see on the right side of our formation, or the defensive left, I'd like to see a fan call here. Like if you go back to where it's lined up. Okay. 19 ends up coming. But what I'd like to see happen is let's fan this thing, right? You got your center on the A gap right there. You got Wee Woo on number 8 as he comes down, and Simmons, because number 6 is up there. I see 15's coming, but it's a much more natural block for Barnes to get over to 15 than it is out to 6, because Barnes has got to work inside out, right?
Yep.
And that's what Wink Martindale's defense does. It makes him choose again, and that's how you get the unblocked defender.
Gotcha.
Right? So if you fan this thing, because Barnes's first responsibility is number 1. He's working inside out. Okay.
Yeah, inside out.
But like what we talked about with Ozeata, if Ozeata stays square right here instead of him coming down on that slanting nose, he can take care of number one for you, right? So if you fan this protection out to the right, you've got Simmons on number 6. You've got Wee Woo out here on number 8, who ends up slanting into his face. And Michael has got the A gap. And since you're working inside out, you watch it how once Barnes has that oh crap feeling, once he realizes what's going on, his eyes are at 15 and they're just not, it happens so fast that he can't get out to number 6, but he could get to number 15, right? See, bang, bang, right there. He could have been on number 19 or 15, whatever that is. I'm half blind, but then that gives you a little bit more time if you're Mateer and everybody's accounted for, right?
Yep. No, I appreciate Mateer keeping the ball secure. Alex, great point on the way that he can contort his body and get, stay low, keep his balance on a guy that's full speed going into his hip. Yeah.
And ultimately the O-line didn't do a bad job, because if you want to turn somebody loose, turn loose the outside guy. Don't turn somebody loose on the inside, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty good job, right? I'm a little greedy. I want to block everybody, but but if you're going to turn somebody loose, turn loose the outside guy, because at least it gives your quarterback a little bit more time to be able to do something like this.
Yep. And then he just throws that.
I mean, that's ridiculous, dude. I mean, on the move. I mean, that's
just an unbelievable play. And the catch is just
the catch.
Yeah, we're not used to, here in recent memory, we're not used to Oklahoma players making plays like this.
No. And I'll be honest, he wasn't out on the 14. I couldn't believe they said he was out on the 14. I thought he was out at the 5. It looked like there was green between his shoe.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah.
Well, is there any other play that you want to take a look at?
Not that I can recall, no.
Any questions from anybody else?
Let me see. How many yards did Barnes average? You know what? I have no idea.
Oh, look. Mateer was your leading rusher by far, but
let's see. So he would 4 yards a carry. He went for six carries, 24 yards, 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, just didn't carry.
But he had a couple. We went through it. There was a couple good plays. Like he had, out of that. I mean, there was 2 really good plays that he made on his own. I mean, that
outside of Mateer, he had your 2 biggest runs.
Yeah.
Was X Robinson hurt, or are they trying to redshirt him? Is what I'm starting to wonder.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's one that I'm actually surprised. I don't know if you agree or not, JY, but he reminds me of a bigger Kennedy Brooks, with just how patient he is, his vision. I'm a huge X Robinson fan, so I'm wondering.
I am too. I don't know where he's at.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's dinged up or what's going on. And Brad, in my mind, for Brad's question here, you see on the screen, have you seen enough through 2 games to say the lack of running game is an RB problem, not an O-line issue? I'll say in game 1, the personnel you had in there didn't do you a lot of favors, right? As far as O-line goes. With this offensive line, I think a couple of things that happened against Michigan is, against Michigan, you were physical enough to run the football, even though it was the +1 look with quarterback run game, right? You're still physical enough to run the football. I think trying to figure out what your running backs are good at, talking about how Barnes is more of a gap scheme guy, Ott is a zone guy. And then you got Tatum still hurt. You got Blaylock, can do a little bit of everything. Yeah. I think right now Blaylock is probably RB1 for me. I think Ott still has some issues with pass protection. They're not glaring, but that is probably the reason why we haven't seen Jaden Ott on the field as much as we thought we would to this point. Not to say that he can't get better. And if anybody can get him right, teach him how to pass protect. That was one of the great things that DeMarco Murray did with pass protect. He's very good at that. So and he comes from Cale Gundy's school, man. You got to pass protect to play.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's why Ott's not on the field. And you look at Blaylock as a true freshman, he's doing a lot of good things, just like Fasusi, man. You know, he's earned his way onto the field. He was the kid nobody was talking about coming into the fall, right? And here he is. He's RB1 right now from what I've seen. But yeah, like what Alex was saying, I don't know what's up with X, man, because at the end of the year last year, he was your best back, hands down.
Period.
Yeah, he was. He was actually has been my favorite back through offseason because of what he did in the last part of the year. And I, studying Washington State, I've been saying Arbuckle likes to use the wide zone, and X-Rob is the closest thing you've got on the roster to Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry absolutely thrives in wide zone. You get defenders moving horizontally, and you get this big 230-pound back punching through the hole, and this guy's trying to make an arm tackle on him. He's just going to shred tackles like crazy. He's going to have like a crazy amount of broken tackles. And I've been hoping that he'd come back. I'm not sure if it's like a injury or something, but yeah, he was, leading up before Jaden Ott addition. I thought X-Rob was going to be our at least 1-2, but that room is pretty deep. I mean, you add Jaden Ott and Barnes played a good game in week 2. Maybe they're just rewarding the guys that are the hot hand in practice and everything. What you can afford to do when you've got that many guys. And we haven't talked about Taylor Tatum. Taylor Tatum's probably going to get some run in Temple. You're probably going to get a bunch of guys. They're going to get a run in Temple to prove themselves for the first conference game versus Auburn. And after that, you get a bye week and Kent State, and your real season starts with Texas. That's where you got that long stretch. You're going to need all those backs because you guys are going to get banged up. So,
yeah. And you got Auburn in there too.
Yeah, and Auburn.
The big thing with Tatum is just going to be staying healthy, but also just holding on to the football. I mean, that's true.
He's
obviously extremely talented, but he's just got to hold on to the football this year. So, I actually just found one of the plays I was thinking of from this weekend, this Saturday, that Blaylock had on a blitz pickup against Barham in the hole, and it was a really nice block that he made on him. The ball gets batted up and falls incomplete, but he comes across Mateer and takes care of Barham on a blitz. So
is that where he knifed him?
Yeah, he takes him out right below his knees. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice play, nice block. So
yeah. Well, guys, pretty good first episode of Trench Warfare. Ripped through like an hour and a half pretty easily. Blinked and it was done. We tore through some tape, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good time.
We went through a lot, man.
I liked it. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was
Let's do this again after next week.
Yeah, thanks, Brad and Jimmy, for the questions, man. Thank you guys for giving us some stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah, I know Musfit had some comments in there as well. So
yeah, we had a lot of good comments, and we'll try to do this. After a game, we'll try to shoot for Sunday night, but schedule being, we'll do it when we can. We'll put it out there. I'll do a better job of putting it out there on social media. I've been out of it for a few days, but we can get it scheduled and we can pump it out there, put it on TFB and on our socials and stuff to really just get people to come in here and just talk about. Really, it's for us to go through a few plays, but we want a good portion of the show to be about questions because we got 2 gurus in here on Trench Warfare, so let's take advantage of them. Right? I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot of shows that have this much knowledge and to be able to take questions on the air on a show like this. So that was a lot of fun, guys. I can't wait for the next one. I learned a lot. I don't really know much about protection. I literally told Brad like defensive coverages and obviously like some of the different plays and stuff, the passing game, some of the air raid stuff is where I kind of like to live. Blitzes, I like learning all the different, like the pirate blitzes and the exchange blitzes and stuff like that. I like learning about that stuff. But as far as like O-line, it's like a deep dark hole. Like I don't know. Like you guys are talking about fanning. I understand what it is, but I've never actually been like you went through it like in the level of detail like we would tonight. It was pretty cool. It makes sense. I mean, all the different things you got to
account for 4, you can pass protect.
Heck yeah. One.
You know, because basically you're going from the center out, man. The most they're going to bring, you got 4 gaps, A, B, C, and D, man. That's where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Right.
JY's the guru, man. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can on the O-line side of things, and he obviously had college experience doing it. So
yeah.
But a lot of guys don't understand O-line play. So that's where I'm like, man, that's where I want my focus to be moving forward. So
yeah.
Well, it's just I got in trouble so much when I was in college because I wasn't a very athletic guy. So I was not a Fasusi type player.
Gotcha.
Not at all. Not at all. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
Right. But you find a way to get it done. Right. So you got to be in the right place.
You know what I'm finding out, JY? Some of my favorite film that I'm coming across on O-linemen in college are guys that may not be the most athletic, but they're physical as hell. And they just want to come across and knock the shit out of you. Those are the guys I'm really enjoying watching some of these guys, man.
Yeah, they make your heart happy because you know they're giving you absolutely everything you got.
Yep, agreed.
So,
well,
100%.
Any other last thoughts before we close the show out? All right. Well, thank you for listening to Trench Warfare. It was a lot of fun. We'll see you next week. We'll keep diving into it. And yeah, see you later. Boomer Sooner.
Boomer.
Hey, that is my standard. Champion standard. Yeah. Run my place, ayy. Keep up with the pace, ayy. If you don't got motion, then stay up out of my face, ayy. I be doing a race, ayy. 100 yards out of the way, ayy. It's time to lock in the field, baby. It's game day. 7 rings you can't handle. I'm on a champion man too. Welcome to my stand.